Yes. Yes. That is good. I like the way you use the term.
You know, you're making it very hard to do this.
Rude.
If I'm going to finish... Great. Another distraction. Hello?
Hey, Creepy, it's James.
Hi, James.
So, how's it going?
I'm kind of busy right now, James. Is there something you needed?
Oh, yeah, sorry, well... Here's the thing, I noticed you didn't sign up for the Manic Expression Halloween event.
Yeah, I'm just really behind after being sick for all of August, and I just didn't have the time.
Well, just wouldn't be the same without you.
James, I really don't have the time this year.
Why not help someone else with theirs? That way, you're not doing all the work. Fine. Ah, excellent.
Well, who should I be helping?
I don't know. I gotta go. Thanks, Creepy. Bye.
What was that?
We're doing something else now.
Huh? But that was going so well.
Yeah, I know. Hey, it's Creepy.
Oh, hey Creepy, what's up?
James wants me to help someone for the Halloween event. Do you need any help on your project?
Well, I'm writing a Halloween theme song.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween.
Stop! I just remembered. I decided to do something else.
Why?
Oh, well, you see, sorry, gotta go. My grandma's on fire.
Well, I'm off to a great start.
Hi, and thank you for calling the Church of Pretty Boy. I can't come to the phone right now as my followers and I are currently experimenting with the Halloween blog. We're trying to see if we can recreate the human centipede using cats instead of humans. If you'd like to leave your name and number, I'll get back to you in just a moment. If not, please call my personal phone number 021. This is...
Maybe you should just call James back and...
No, I'm going to try one more person.
Oh, not him.
Yes, I'm desperate enough.
God damn it. Look, I don't want to hear any more about Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie, okay?
That's fine, neither do I.
Oh, good. Who is this?
This is Creepy.
Oh, hey, Creepy.
Look, do you want to do something for the Halloween event?
Absolutely. I'm about to sit down and watch me some Graveyard Shift.
Why?
To review it.
Madness and stupidity.
Hello, Internet. I am an idiot.
And I'm that long-haired creepy guy.
Why are you dressed up like Batman?
Well, you're the Joker. I just thought this was what we were doing. I can do this naked if you want.
No. Batman is fine. It's fitting in a way. Let's dive right into Graveyard Shift. Released in the fall of 1990, Graveyard Shift is a film adaptation of the Stephen King short story. The film is generally considered a flop by critics and audiences alike, boasting a 4.8 on the Internet Movie Database and a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. For those of you who find that information useful anyway. So, what horror awaits us in this Stephen King adaptation?
It's a movie based off of a Stephen King story. The biggest horror will be the disappointing ending. But, for people who don't find that scary, there's also a giant cotton grinder.
Well, they could use the cotton to scare people, make some kind of ghost sheet. I have been looking for an excuse to go back to sewing class.
Let's just get the review started, okay? I've got places to be.
Our story kicks off in that Bermuda Triangle of Stephen King novels. Maine! Home of child-eating aliens, vampire outbreaks, and now giant mutant rats.
True, but you should try the lobster they have there. Personally, I think it's worth it.
Our protagonist is the devilishly handsome John Hall, played by David Andrews, whom most of you probably better recognize from Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. But he's not important right now, as our opening includes a montage of what the cotton-making process consists of, which is only slightly less riveting than watching paint dry. Please, for the love of God, tell me something scary happens. And quick.
Well, there's self-inflicted wounding. Does that count?
No! Give me something scary!
Hello, Doris. Want to do me a favor? Help me load the next order?
Nope. I want something scary.
A man who talks to rats isn't scary to you? Like, not even a little disturbing?
You talk to plush toys. Who the hell are you to judge?
You're no lady, Doris.
I was told there would be rat carnage. Now where is it?
Good morning, boys and girls. Did we all remember to bring our homework assignments today?
I don't talk to rats, or feed them to a cotton grinder. That's gotta be a step up from this guy.
Fair enough.
I'm not desperate enough to...
Well, you wanted rat carnage.
That doesn't count. The machine did it, and all we saw was it chewing up tomatoes.
So, after random mill worker is turned into tomato paste in front of an audience of rats, we get our opening title screen.
Well, at least that's a little creepy.
Oh, that's not even the best part.
The title screen then proceeds to have its time of the month as we fade into a graveyard.
A graveyard is the best part? Are we 8 years old?
Just wait.
We get a few more pan shots of the graveyard in question until we finally get to the best part of the movie.
Is that?
Yep.
Oh my god, it's Brad
Damn! Wow!
The film wastes no time introducing us to the true star of the film, Brad Dourif, the voice of Chucky from Child's Play. He also played Doc Cochran in Deadwood.
The less said about that, the better. Though, he did do Grandma Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings.
In this film, Brad Dourif plays the Exterminator. Doesn't actually have a name. He's like the Terminator.
Except with rats.
And in this mostly pointless scene, he is flooding a house infested with rats to force them out into the creek below.
Adios, motherfuckers!
Clearly, he's a professional at his craft.
And with that, the film cuts to our main protagonist, John Hall. He's a drifter looking for work and decides to check out the local bar.
Which is Redneck Central.
Oh, wait a minute! Who are those ladies who were eye-fucking him just then?
That was Jane Wisconski, played by Kelly Wolfe. And the other one is Nordello, played by Ilona Margolis.
Are they important?
Well, one of them is.
Of course, the bar is occupied by those same three asshole rednecks that are in every Stephen King story.
I bet his mommy packs his lunch. Peanut butter and jelly.
See you around, Girl Scout.
You ought to see who they're hiring for the new mule. She is one cute little chick.
Accidental death at Bachman Textile.
Because Stephen King! Bachman! Get it?
They should have named the local high school Bachman instead. That would have been way more appropriate.
Dude! Not cool!
Bachman's Mill is in financial trouble because of the accident we just witnessed, and several others that are only alluded to. Warwick, the mill's owner, played by Stephen Macht, shows up for a meeting with an inspector, who isn't thrilled with what he's found.
This place has to be cleared before another worker steps foot in this death trap.
Case in point.
Wait a minute. If the mill closes down, that means no more rats will be attacking people, so that means the movie's over, right?
July 4th holiday. I'll be back.
No, but let's hear it for good old-fashioned bribery. The only way to fix a problem and keep a horror movie plot going.
Seeing as his business is in trouble, hiring a drifter to replace the dead guy doesn't sound like such a bad idea. Though Warwick still gives John a hard time at first. During their conversation, we finally get around to the reason for the movie's title.
That's it. Except for the hours. Because of the heat, we only run that sucker through the night.
The graveyard shift.
Wait a minute, did I add that scream in there? I don't remember doing that.
No, Dourif is on the case again. That explains way more than you need to know in this or any other movie.
Spread the word, fucker.
The night of his very first shift, John gets to meet some of the friendly locals. We also get a wee bit of product placement before John and the exterminator formally meet, enjoying some male bonding time.
Wait, are these two our main love interests? I assumed it was the girl from before, but...
Whoa, keep your slasher fanfiction to yourself. This movie has enough problems being a Stephen King adaptation.
That might be the understatement of the year.
Unfortunately for Creepy, this is not a late-night steamy encounter involving nozzle penetration, but rather a random encounter involving awkwardly placed dead rats.
John Hall.
Well, at least Warwick is actually doing something about it.
Yeah, sure! One nutcase with a spray gun. He's going all out. Here we find out from Dorif that Warwick is trying to penny pinch his way to a solution. And even this nutcase knows this place is too fucked up.
These sons of bitches piss on tracking poison. They piss on it to warn their little fucker friends.
So basically his job is to...
Tell us about the rats so that they don't have to spend any money to show us.
To be fair, Dorif's performance in this scene makes it very enjoyable. He may be telling us about the danger, but he's putting on a very good show.
Yeah.
Dorif finishes his little story of the dangers of rats, and we cut to,
Anybody call break? Ain't no laughing on company hours.
Bad improv night at the Bachman Mill.
Yeah, nobody is laughing on company hours because the current act is shit.
However, Warwick finds his performance very amusing and congratulates him by breathing down his neck while pressing his sweaty body up against the back of his...
Creepy!
What? I'm just describing what happens on the screen as it plays out. It's not my fault this movie is homoerotic.
After getting good and hot on Baldy, Warwick's attention is brought to Jane. He turns on the flirting while Jane tries to casually brush him off. This is when Warwick takes his big, sweaty body and presses himself up against... You're not gonna stop me?
I've said it before. Stephen King. Eventually, someone will begin fucking.
Sexual pornography. It's sexual philosophy. So run your hands all over me to the point of ecstasy.
Warwick is cock-blocked by the alarm and John enters from afar. The scene insinuates that Warwick is trying to proposition Jane into a promotion. Probably for sex.
So they're gonna fuck?
Unfortunately, no. Nobody fucks in this movie.
Jane turns down his offer for a better job by fucking the boss and is, instead, going to help clean up the mess in the basement. Why?
That bastard ain't been touched since Christ was a kid. But it's for double pay.
Double? Hell yeah, let's go kill some rats.
Actually, it's the other way around.
One of Warwick's help is down in the basement getting the lights set up when we get our first glimpse of the monster in this movie.
I'm Batman.
Wait a minute. Is this movie about a giant rat or a giant bat? I mean, they're both rodents, but they're not really the same species.
It's Hollywood. They don't know the difference and don't believe anyone else should either.
This latest death means the company has a new opening. Also, John survived his first night on the job, so he goes over to the local cafe for a bite to eat. The good news for John is that he's being served the house special for free. The bad news is the rat burger is not to John's palate.
Beautiful silver-haired lady holds him again and again.
And that's it! Which means this whole scene was pointless.
I think they were trying to show that John keeps his temper in check and tries not to let people bother him. Maybe?
Hey. You need a lift?
Hey, the locals are impressed by it, and that's good enough for me.
It also triggers Warwick's bitch face mode. I have a suspicion that it's on the way to freezing like that.
The two share some small talk with each other during the ride. We get another quick reference to Stephen King, for those of you playing the drinking game at home. Warwick, meanwhile, has hired the only black man in town to fill the newly vacated position.
Black guy in a horror movie. Will he be spared because of Stephen King's white guilt, or die because of a horrible cliche?
Creepy, I'm surprised by you.
Jumpy.
We haven't had nearly enough jump scares yet to get to that trope. Meanwhile, Nordello, who's been sleeping with Warwick this whole time, finds out she's been slated for basement cleanup duty. This appears to be the equivalent of getting a text message telling her she's been dumped, so Nordello responds accordingly.
Thus far, this has been the most entertaining part of the whole movie.
How can you do this to me? Ah!
Like it rough, don't you, Nordello? Huh?
Unfortunately, like anything good in life, it never lasts. And are these townspeople gonna just stand here and watch this woman get assaulted?
I think from now on, you better watch what you're saying.
This is the early hero moment for John. Just in case the audience forgot that he's supposed to be our protagonist, it's easy to do. Not like he's done anything else recently.
That night, John's back at work, and it's the usual deal with high temperatures and lots of rats, including a great big one. No, it is not the one you're thinking of.
Sorry, I thought you were a rat.
You're not the first.
It's an easy enough mistake to make.
Warwick tries to smooth talk John into working on the basement cleanup crew during the week of 4th of July, which is when all the union workers have time off. He does this by acting as obviously evil as possible, which is to say, how he's acted from the start. Seeing as John is hard up for cash, though, he accepts.
Thank you, Mr. Warwick.
You're so welcome, Mr. Hall.
Finally! We're about halfway through this damn thing, and it feels like the plot just started.
Au contraire, we still have to deal with more asshole redneck antics before we can get to the actual plot.
Hey, Ratman. You must feel awful special. You're gonna be down in the shit pit with the rest of us. Yeah.
I think I figured out the problem with this movie. It's a fucking cock tease. We get a few minutes with Brad Dourif, and then we're immediately thrust back into this shit.
So this movie is a parallel between you and your dating life?
I told you that in confidence. Nobody's supposed to know about the restraining orders filed by 3 of the 5 members of the Spice Girls. Okay, 5 out of 5. Jane and John are starting to get along and decide to take their meal back to Jane's place.
I know what that means.
No, you don't! I already told you nobody in this movie gets physical. Well, that's not entirely true. The rats get physical with Nordello. Despite that disappointing development, the film finally gets down to business with the basement cleanup. Sort of.
Work areas listed over there, just like we talked about.
Job split evenly, night by night. Tried to keep it interesting.
Which of course inspires John to say something clever.
Do we all, get a gold watch or something?
John, pay attention. You're a member of a cleanup crew, not a police officer.
Exactly. I don't see anyone beating the shit out of Carmichael.
Come on, Creepy, leave the political jokes to Decker. He's better at them than either of us. Hey, Creepy.
What's up?
What the hell just happened there?
Based on the shitty editing, I have no idea.
Sure beats nailing them with soda pop.
Well, yeah, but the product placement check is far less impressive your way.
The next scene is a bit, well, silly.
That combination of sound effects makes Brogan sound like he has a prostate problem.
What happens for the next several minutes is the laziest method of cleaning up anyone has ever seen, occasionally punctuated by Brogan. Eventually, the laziness becomes too much to bear for Ippenston, as he clearly doesn't like rats.
Well, then what the fuck is he doing in this movie?
Everyone needs a paycheck.
Warwick sets him straight by appealing to the group over Ipston's individual complaints and fires him on the spot. Which actually was a huge favor to him. He might be shocked right now, but when he finds out what happened in this basement, he's gonna be hugging that pink slip.
Ain't you a kick in the nuts?
You have no idea. Despite Dorif's explanation that Bachman is a big cheap bastard, Warwick doesn't give a shit.
So what, he's blackmailing him for free work?
Yeah, pretty much.
What a douchebag.
Pretty much.
Dorif agrees to Warwick's offer.
Okay, what is it you got me doing?
When's the last time you've been to a graveyard?
Fuck you.
Dorif and Moxie head off to the graveyard, which takes on a very standard horror movie look, including dry ice fog, damp walls, and constant darkness.
I'm not gonna like this scene, am I?
Nope.
While looking for the rat's nest, the film takes out Dorif in the lamest way possible. He's crushed to death by a stone casket.
If you look at the wide shot, the casket is slightly off to one side at his chest, and yes, the ground does move him down a little, but you can clearly see that the casket is still at chest level. How the fuck did it crush his head?
You're pissed about the technical aspect of the shot, and not about the fact that the movie just killed the only likable character in it.
Yeah, it sucks too, but if you're gonna kill off Dorif, you better do it in a spectacular way. He's Brad fucking Dorif!
Yeah.
Now that Brad Dorif is dead, I no longer give a shit about what happens in this film. The whole mill could blow up in typical Michael Bay fashion and I still wouldn't care.
We still have to finish this thing.
Fine. John and Jane start to build their romantic relationship because the film wants us to care that they might die. And they stumble upon the entrance to an even deeper location in the basement.
Wow. One was down there.
Are you insane? You're in a horror movie. Don't ever say that.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'll be right back.
Not quite the same, but just as good.
Warwick tries to force John down into the lower basement, but he fast talks Warwick into coming with him. Jane volunteers herself as well.
Now we have the hero, the villain, and the chick down in a deep, dark sub-basement where presumably the monster is also at.
What the hell we got here? Vicon power sauce.
Looks like it hasn't worked in years.
And everybody else from the looks of it? Was Warwick planning on serving up his whole crew as a buffet? And where's the monster?
There it is. I think. Wait, was that supposed to be a giant rat or a lizard?
Now that everyone is finally clear on the fact that something strange is going on, the time has come to panic. Jane and John get separated from the others. Meanwhile, Warwick finds an old crate and begins passing out a few empty bottles for his crew to use as weapons. Great, they can throw bottles at him and end up unarmed. It's less effective than the fire hose, but just as lethal.
There's probably a good reason behind Warwick's thinking, like...
He found the opening. He brought us down there.
Huh. Usually it's the quiet religious guy who ends up going insane in Stephen King's works.
Warwick was already a couple hot pockets shy of a college dinner creepy. This is nothing new.
While John and Jane are wading through neck-high water, making themselves prime monster rat bait, Carmichael finds what he believes is the way out. Warwick sends him in first to confirm or deny.
And here we go.
And there we are. Though, as much as I hate to say it, Carmichael was not the sharpest pick in the tool shed.
Oh, it's a Stephen King-based flick. You apply the same methodology you would on a slasher flick. Basically, a couple of people are allowed to live to see the end, and we already know who they are going to be. With the crew being whittled down, Andrew Divoff, who you might recognize from Wishmaster, starts to lose his shit.
Not going! No, I'm not going anymore! No more!
Warwick leaves him alone for the moment, and at long last we get our best and closest look at the monster. Damn! You weren't kidding, Creepy. I've seen scarier things on Disney rides.
They should have made the cotton grinder the monster. A machine that comes to life and eats people is much better.
Oh, you say that now. But we could have been watching Maximum Overdrive this whole time.
Now that he's all alone, Warwick decides that it's time to GTFO. Karma can be a bitch, however, and drops him down a shaft into a pile of bones. Luckily for him, it just so happens that John and Jane are in the area, searching for their own way out, and they take the time to dig him up.
Mr. Foreman. Come on, let's lift him up.
Alright, I'm calling bullshit on this one. I've had to put up with a lot, including a shitty fucking monster suit, but there ain't no way in hell that he survived a fall from that high with only a few scrapes.
Hollywood physics. Besides, they really ought to just leave him there. You know he's going to do something underhanded the minute they find the exit.
Or he could just go nuts right here. I guess that saves time. Now that it's clear Warwick has no intention of letting anyone else leave the sublevel alive, John gets to work out his frustrations. Jane lends a hand, but all she gets for her trouble is impalement.
Wow, I really thought she'd live to see the end. My mistake.
Stop the movie for one fucking minute. Are you telling me that our sole survivor of the movie is Warwick?
Nope.
Oh, well, okay then.
Everyone is dead except for John, and he made it out alive, so less than horrible happy ending.
You forgot about the monster, Creepy, and to be perfectly frank, I wish I could say the same myself. And shouldn't it be coming up out of the ground?
You're going to argue semantics with me now when the ending is just in sight.
Good point. Carry on. The rat monster manages to get its tail caught in the cotton grinder, so John uses his master marksman skills with the slingshot to... Fuck! Can't even hit a stationary target. We all know that wouldn't have happened to Brad Dourif.
Let the Dorif thing go already. We're nearly at the finish line.
John hits his mark on the second try. The slow motion effect helped, no doubt. Just as the rat monster gets its tail free. This isn't enough to save it, and we get to watch the process of making ground chuck out of rat meat. Yay.
Wait.
The movie ends as John sobs, with a quick cut to reveal that the mill is still open, but under new management.
After all that, they still didn't get rid of the rats. I mean, the big one, yeah, but not all of the little ones.
Well, what did you expect? They killed off Brad.
I know! Sheesh. Go masturbate to a Chucky movie if you're that in love with a guy.
Huh. I guess I could go do that. Entertain them for me, would you please?
What the hell did I even watch? Okay, getting the good stuff out of the way first. The movie can be fun in spots. It's easy to see why Brad Dourif is the highlight of this movie. His character adds some much-needed flair and energy. That's really the best thing I can say about it. The editing is clumsy in a lot of places. This is especially true whenever the monster is even remotely on screen. The big crime is that it's really boring for the first half. The plot doesn't even start to pick up until Act 3.
That is to say, the actual story of being stalked by a rat monster in an enclosed environment doesn't kick off until Act 3.
I feel like the movie was going for a Jaws feel, where you don't see very much of the creature until the climax. This could work, except that the monster is obviously fake. Even the small parts that we glimpse aren't realistic.
I'd give the movie a 2. It's bad, don't get me wrong, but it's bad in a fun way and will easily fit into your guilty pleasure slot. By the way, are you done yet?
Who, me? I was done with that a while ago.
Brad Dourif really does it for you, huh?
You have no idea. Bottom line, this movie is really fucking stupid. The only reason I own it is to get several great laughs out of Brad Dourif, and after he's killed off, the film is promptly turned off. To be fair, or at least as fair as they were to Brad
Would you shut up already?
The film did have an interesting look. It was dark, dank, cramped, and everything was old. It was a perfect setting for a horror film. Just not one about rats taking advantage of a giant bat thing. Warwick, played by Stephen Macht, God, I hope I'm saying that right. Would be kind of fun if he weren't such an insufferable prick. Also, there's the fact that the film just wasn't scary. Some of the actors were decent, but they weren't given enough screen time for me to give a shit. So if I had to give it like a number rating, I'd say 3 out of 10 for a major waste of Dorif.
Fuck you.
Well, Creepy, Creepy?
Creepy's not here anymore.
Well, that was rude. He didn't even say goodbye.
It wasn't really a choice. I threw him into the jaws of Riley.
He's writing, isn't he?
Yes, he's writing.
Jimmy Thulu, get over here. I need you to tell me I'm amazing again.
Fuck you.